There's a strange kind of heartbreak nobody talks about enough. It's not getting cheated on. It's not divorce. It's not toxic relationships. It's watching genuinely good people stay alone for years. Not because they're unattractive. Not because they're difficult. Not because nobody wants them. But because modern dating quietly punishes the very traits that make someone worth loving. And the scary part? Some of the people who would make the best partners are slowly giving up on love completely. Tonight, we need to talk about why. And more importantly, what they can actually do about it. Because if you've ever wondered why kind, loyal, emotionally mature people keep ending up alone, this video might hit harder than you expect. A few months ago, a guy posted something online that went viral. He wrote, "I'm tired of hearing that I'll find someone someday. I've worked on myself. I'm loyal. I communicate. I have a stable life, but every time I meet someone, it feels like I'm competing with 100 other options and somehow still losing." Thousands of people replied, not mocking him, relating to him. Women said, "I feel the exact same way." Men said, "I stopped trying years ago." And suddenly, something became painfully obvious. There are millions of good people out there, silently experiencing emotional exhaustion. Not because they can't love, but because modern dating has changed the rules. And nobody gave them the new playbook. Here's the first uncomfortable truth. Being a good person is no longer enough to guarantee connection. That sounds harsh, but think about it. Dating apps reward attention, not depth. Social media rewards excitement, not stability. Modern relationships are built in environments designed to keep people searching instead of choosing. And that changes people psychologically. Because when someone always believes a better option might be one swipe away, commitment starts to feel like settling. Even when they meet someone amazing. But that's not even the real reason good people stay single. The real reason is far more painful. And most people don't realize they're doing it to themselves. Good people tend to love carefully. They don't want to waste someone's time. They don't want to manipulate anyone. They don't want to hurt people. So they overthink everything. They replay text messages. They hesitate before opening up. They avoid playing games. They try to be emotionally responsible. But in today's dating culture, emotionally responsible people often lose to emotionally exciting people. And that creates a dangerous cycle. The good person starts believing, maybe I'm too boring, maybe I care too much, maybe something is wrong with me. So they slowly become quieter, more guarded, more distant. Not because they stopped wanting love, but because rejection, repeated too many times, changes people emotionally. Imagine this. You finally meet someone who feels different. The conversations are effortless. You laugh naturally. You start imagining possibilities again. And for the first time in months, maybe years, you allow yourself to hope. Then suddenly, their replies slow down. They become inconsistent. You feel the energy change. But instead of communicating honestly, they disappear emotionally while still staying just close enough to confuse you. And now you're stuck asking the question modern dating created, did I do something wrong? When in reality, many people today are emotionally unavailable without even realizing it. Because they crave connection emotionally, but fear commitment psychologically. And what happens next is exactly why so many good people eventually stop dating altogether. People talk a lot about heartbreak, but nobody talks enough about dating fatigue, that slow emotional burnout that happens when you keep showing up sincerely and keep getting temporary people in return. At first, you stay optimistic, then cautious, then emotionally tired, and eventually, you stop expecting anything real. This is why some genuinely amazing people are still single. Not because they can't find attention, but because attention is easy, consistency is rare, effort is rare, emotional maturity is rare. And after enough disappointments, good people start protecting their peace more than chasing love. There's a woman who said something heartbreaking during an interview. She said, "I think I became too independent because nobody stayed long enough for me to rely on." That sentence destroyed people online because so many people understood it instantly. Sometimes independence isn't empowerment. Sometimes it's adaptation. It's what happens when life teaches you, don't expect anyone to stay. And the saddest part, the more emotionally self-sufficient someone becomes, the harder it is for others to recognize how deeply lonely they actually are. Here's another painful truth. Good people often attract emotionally damaged people. Why? Because kindness feels safe, patience feels safe, understanding feels safe. So emotionally unavailable people are drawn toward emotionally available people without actually being ready to love them properly. And the good person keeps thinking, if I just love them correctly, maybe they'll finally choose me. But love cannot heal someone into readiness. And this is where many good people lose years of their lives, waiting for emotionally confused people to become emotionally certain. But the next part is where everything changes. Because staying single too long can start affecting the way people see themselves, and most don't notice it happening. After enough failed connections, people stop questioning dating. They start questioning themselves. Maybe I'm too much. Maybe I'm not attractive enough. Maybe I missed my chance. Maybe love just isn't meant for me. And slowly, loneliness becomes identity instead of circumstance. That's the dangerous part, because humans adapt emotionally to almost anything, even isolation. Some people become so used to disappointment that healthy love actually starts feeling unfamiliar. Suspicion replaces trust. Hyper-independence replaces vulnerability. And eventually they convince themselves they don't need anyone anymore. Not because it's true, but because disappointment repeated long enough becomes emotional self-defense. So why do good people stay single too long? Because many of them refuse to become emotionally careless. They still value loyalty in a culture addicted to convenience. They still crave depth in a world obsessed with appearances. They still believe love should feel intentional. And honestly, that makes modern dating harder, but not meaningless. Because despite everything, people still deeply want real connection, even the emotionally unavailable ones, even the people pretending they don't care, even the people hiding behind casual relationships and endless distractions. Underneath all of it, most people still want someone who feels safe to come home to emotionally. So here's what actually changes things. Not a dating app hack. Not a new strategy to seem less available. Not playing a role you're not. 3 honest shifts. The first one is this. Stop performing readiness and start signaling it. Good people often make themselves invisible emotionally because they don't want to seem desperate. But there's a difference between chasing someone and simply being clear about what you want. You're allowed to say, early and without apology, I'm looking for something real. That one sentence filters out 80% of the wrong people before they waste your time. The people who disappear when you say that, they were never going to stay anyway. The second shift. Recognize the difference between healing someone and choosing someone. If you find yourself constantly excusing inconsistency, waiting for someone to finally be ready, or feeling like you have to earn affection, that's not love. That's a project. And good people are not rehabilitation centers for people who haven't decided to grow yet. Protecting your emotional energy is not coldness, it is wisdom. The third shift, and this one is the hardest. Recalibrate what connection feels like. After years of inconsistency, many good people become so used to emotional chaos that calm, steady love actually feels boring. If someone texts back consistently, shows up when they say they will, and treats you with basic dignity, and your first response is, there must be something wrong with them, that is a sign that your nervous system has been trained to equate anxiety with love. Calm is not boring. Calm is what safety feels like. And safety is what love is supposed to feel like. So if you're someone who's been single for a long time, this is important. Do not let temporary experiences convince you that permanent love is impossible. And do not confuse delayed connection with personal failure. Sometimes good people stay single longer because they refuse to settle for relationships that destroy their peace. That may hurt now, but it is not a flaw. It is a standard, and standards, held with the right self-awareness, don't keep love away. They make room for the right kind. Because the goal was never just to find somebody. The goal was to find somebody emotionally capable of choosing you consistently. Hold that standard and stop apologizing for it. Now I want to ask you something real. Do you think good people stay single because their standards are too high, or because modern dating has made genuine connection harder than ever? And be completely honest. Have your dating experiences made you more hopeful about love, or have they quietly changed the way you see yourself? Drop your answer in the comments. Because this conversation is bigger than relationships now. It's about what modern love is doing to people emotionally. And if even one part of this video felt personal, share it with someone who needs to hear they are not broken. They are just waiting for someone who deserves what they have to give. Subscribe to Relationship Lab Files, and I'll see you in the next one.